Many years and several screenplays before his blockbuster hit The Exorcist, William Blatty had carved a niche as a comedy writer. His fifth film, What Did You Do in the War, Daddy?, directed by Blake Edwards, was a perfect example of that expertise.
The title, of course, is absolutely ironic. These are a group of men who, a company of American soldiers during World War II, who spent their most heroic moments in World War II trying to cover up the fact that they were having a huge Italian festival in a village called Campania while Rome was burning all around them. It's a typical farce, you know, that begins with hardcore reality, and then a little something unravels, and this leads to the unraveling of something else, and suddenly by Act 3 you're in the midst of utter madness.
Except in this particular case, the madness started at the very beginning.
We had made a pact in blood that there was not to be a single smile or chuckle in the course of the first 20 minutes of this film. And it was to be grim. Willie and Joe, the valiant years. And on the first day of shooting, Dick Shawn, as Captain Lionel Cash, pulls up in a cloud of dust in a Jeep to a GI chow line. And while he is talking to the men, he reaches out a hand in a dramatic gesture, and the GI who's, you know, behind the counter ladles some beans into his hand, you know, without unthinkingly. And Blake broke up, and had stayed in the film, and the first, I guess the first minute of film, and I thought, what happened to this pact that we made, this oath in blood that there was not to be a chuckle.
But chuckle they did, especially at this scene.
I think my favorite scene is when Jim Coburn explains to Dick Shawn, who has been passed out for many hours, explains to him in bed what has been taking place, which Shawn doesn't have a clue about. An enormous fight involving hundreds of men. Aerial photography sent by a U.S. general played by Carol O'Connor. The Nazis. I mean, it's absolutely utter, and they have lost their intelligence officer somewhere in the catacombs underneath this little village of Campania. Bank robberies. I mean, absolute, utter madness. And Shawn's performance in the scene, and everyone's performance in the scene, is simply wonderful.
Interestingly enough, the film almost didn't get made.
Actually, when I completed What'd You Do in the War, Daddy, Blake's head was someplace else. I don't quite recall what happened, but we put it away. And one day Blake called me and said his then wife, Patty, in bed, had found this screenplay and taken it to bed with her. And she was giggling and breaking up and falling down on the floor. And Blake said, maybe it's funny. Maybe we should make this.
And it's a good thing they did, because What Did You Do in the War, Daddy continues to make a lot of people laugh.
If the audience consisted of, you know, thousands of people who like what I like, they will find themselves amused and beguiled and hopefully laughing, and it's nice to have an occasion to laugh now and again.